You can't beat Isle of Man because it's 8 miles round the lap. And it's got that many corners, left, right, brows, hills, left. So Isle of Man is the best.
My girlfriend was pretty worried, and I told her, I remember telling her at the time, don't worry, these guys are out of their mind. There's no fucking way I'll ever do this. It is way too dangerous.
Yeah, I got stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was blood and bone cancer was what I had, because yeah, we did it properly, we don't mess about.
Friday wasn't real, Saturday wasn't real, Sunday night it hit me. Boom, they're out tomorrow.
Isle of Man-based privateer Mikey Evans is setting out in his attempt to break into the top 10 at the TT. Competing against some of the biggest names and richest teams in road racing, Mikey is taking time off from his regular work as an electrician to put his life and his money on the line to prove his abilities and hopefully catch the eye of those professional teams. Relying on support from family and friends, knowing the best performing machinery is outside his financial reach, Mikey is looking to answer the question: is individual talent and determination enough to compete at the highest level in modern motorsport? Or is it now simply a case that only those few with the financial means can ever realistically hope to win at the TT?
It's hard to really put it into words until you do it. There's not really anything on a track that I've been to myself which can replicate it. You know, you go to a short circuit and there might be a one fast corner which is quite scary, and it takes a lot of commitment to do it. But that is constant from the second you leave the line. That commitment and those kind of scary corners and high speed corners, it's for the duration. So that's like an hour and 45 minutes in the big rates of those kind of corners and that kind of awareness of, like, you know, that's quite a committed place, and, you know, don't make a mistake here. It's like that for an hour and 45. So there's not really a way of describing it to a track day rider apart from being kind of on it for an hour and 45 from start to finish.
Do you have any parts of the course you like more than others? Are there any parts of it which you don't enjoy?
I like Bray Hill because it's kind of, you know, the start of the lap, and you kind of go from nothing to a kind of mind-blowing speed, and you're dropping down a hill and you're wheeling and you hit the bottom of it and then you jump out the other side, and it's all about kind of setting up as you kind of set up at the TT, you set up for all your corners, 2 corners before, if you know what I mean. So you have to make sure that you're in the right place at the top of St Ninians, to make sure that you're in the right place for the kink down the hill, so then the same, it all links together. So you have to, that's why you can't really rush it, so you have to really be take your time but also go fast. My least favourite bit is the bumpy section all the way to Ramsey. Like say on the bigger bike, you're taking off and you're wheeling and stuff, so the bike's, it's not just moving, it's bouncing in the straight line, but also if your wheels aren't in line because you're bouncing, it's sending you all over the place. So you've got to really, that's a section where you really have to hold on to the bike and kind of be as smooth as possible, but that's also down to setup as well that changes that. I don't really like it when anybody comes past me or I catch anybody around here, because I like to be able to see everything and see what I'm doing, and obviously a person in front of you can, if you're right behind them, they can make a mistake and you can easily follow them. Short circuits again, there's more space and you can run wide, and, you know, if you were to go up the inside of somebody and accidentally touch them or they touch you or something, it's kind of racing, that's how it works, that's what happens. It's not, you don't set out to do that, but it happens. But that's not the end of the world, whereas here you don't want to be coming really anywhere near anybody, so overtakes are a little bit tricky. You can get caught and stuck behind people because it's not that easy to just go past, and obviously you don't want to dive up the inside of somebody and put anybody else wide or do anything daft.
So, are you really aware of other bikes around you when you're racing here?
Not really, no. No, yesterday I had somebody follow me through Gorsley, so that's about 7 miles in-ish, and he didn't get past me until on the way into Ramsey, which is kind of a lot way, you know, 3/4 of the way around the lap. I didn't even know he was there, because sometimes, you know, if there is a faster rider behind you, the worst thing you can do is try and move and stuff. Like, if they're that much quicker, they'll go past you, so you just kind of got to do your own thing. So yeah, it's more, I don't mind it if there's someone else behind me. It's just if I'm behind someone else, I don't really like that. But yeah, I don't really, you know, unless you look behind you, you don't really know.
So what's the plan for this year?
Go past.
In 2014, Conrad and Dean Harrison achieved a unique feat at the TT, becoming the only father and son ever to win races in the same year. Between them, Conrad and Dean have TT victories in every class, something which can only be equalled, never beaten. Since then, Dean has hit the media headlines, now competing with the leading Honda team at the event. However, Conrad remains true to his privateer roots, staying out of the media limelight and running his own team from the family motorhome, nestled in the heart of the paddock. Unlike his sons, Conrad races sidecars, three-wheeled outfits which require both a driver and a passenger, competing at the TT for 30 years and with 10 podium finishes, including a win. This is the first part of Conrad's story.
Oh, yeah, my story goes well back. 1993, first time here, on a one-way ticket. I couldn't afford to get unless I got my start money. Your parents' money. I had to book. I only booked one way.
There's a lot of chairs in those days.
I was 77.
Yeah.
I was number 77. It were all about wanting to do it. Nobody ever won it. Because Dave Molyneux won it every year. You know what I mean? Or the certain blokes won it, Rob Fisher.
Dave Saville used to
Dave
win it.
Saville, was that before that, yeah. My dad did it in 72, 73 and 89. And I thought I'd just like try and get a couple of replicas and silvers and bronzes. Because he never got out. It might just cheer him up a bit, but it didn't. It's a shame,
I
really.
hope you don't watch this.
Well,
back
but watch
when
it,
he's watching
tell him. I thought it might cheer him up a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, if he couldn't get one, I thought I'll get a few, you know what I mean? Yeah, I did ask for a driving, but our Dean's got a bit of a motto. He always says, Dad, when Dean started racing, I thought if he races solos, our Dean said, if I'm rubbish, I'll be a sidecar driver, Dad. He said, if I'm no good at sidecar driving, I'll be a passenger. I said, Dean, that's a bit below the belt. He said, well, that's like a pecking order, isn't it? I thought, all right. So,
Passengers are hard to come by.
well, they are now. Yes, as the speeds have gone up and up, people just, they've got to be like athletes now. Before there could be a few beers in pub, and they get away with it.
Well, they weren't going as fast then. Well,
They weren't going as fast.
Maybe they need to limit it so it's slightly slower.
And a lot of the
More
outfits,
passengers then.
yeah, but a lot of the outfits were lay down outfits. So the passengers did a lot of laying down. Now they're cramped and the left, right, and completely different. Since they invited the world champions like Tim and Ben, the event's just gone up from like a bit of an holiday and enjoy yourself and to serious now, isn't it? They've created stars really, and good luck to them. I'm not a jealous person, never been jealous. You just got to accept it. Everything, single thing in your life changes, isn't it? Your marriage, your kids, and this is just changing. And it's completely different now to 2014 when I won it. Completely. When I won it in 2014, it was just still fun really. Now it's really serious. You know
It was
what I
a
mean?
special year, 2014.
Yeah, I won that week and then Dean won that week, yeah.
The only father and son to win. In the
In
same
history, yeah, really, yeah. And the teams, they spend a lot more money than me. I mean, the reason what happened with me, I got knocked off a road bike going home in 2012. And I got some compensation. And when the cheque landed, I said to Sammy, I'm going to buy everything brand new. We'd been third in 2000. We'd been sixth in 2007. I'd been thereabouts, and I thought, might be a slim chance of me getting on rostrum here. So I spent, I got 21,000 compensation with the bike money. I just spent it all on sidecar racing.
Which probably ain't a lot nowadays.
No, I went. Everybody got LCR fever, so the Joe Shelbourne and I, nobody wanted them. So I went down to Joe Shelbourne's and he had one on bench half finished. So we did a deal. I got a brand new bike, two engines, more tech ignition. I bought everything I could afford. I got Chris Mayer who helped me out. I got Tim Seed who's done Dean this week. Top mapper, I paid him. And I just went for it. Everything, race fuel. Then I won, and then after I finished, I realised, even with the prize money, I didn't have enough to reinvest, to go up another level. I'd have had to then sell that bike, probably get used to LCRs, because they are lighter.
They don't last as long, though, do they?
Well, I know they don't, but they are better and the lighter and this and that. But I've probably had to spend probably 50,000. So I decided, I think you just enjoy yourself. But I still enjoyed myself after I'd won. I think I finished third in 16, you know what I mean?
Yep.
We scraped a result on Rod's bike, but I rode good times, you know what I mean? But I knew to go up a level again, I'd have to like have a remortgage house. And when you get to my age, you get, say, 59, I mean, you don't start a mortgage again, do you? We just paid it off, haven't we? So I decided
There's almost 2
not to
races,
take
isn't
part, you never take part, but to ride at the level I could afford.
Yeah.
But at least I got a chance with that compensation, didn't I? I got that chance. I mean, the year before I beat Tim won 13, and Dave was second. Sorry, third, and I was second. And I pulled Dave afterwards having a pint. I said, Dave, I've actually beaten you and I'm still second. And the main man to beat was Dave. You know what I mean? You beat Dave, you won TT. And then Tim won. And I said to Sammy, I can't see me won. And I knew Ben were getting... They're really good sponsorship, Ben. They look the part, don't they? Where my passenger at that time were Kes Williams, mint passenger. But me and Kes were in his late 50s.
He will have been, yeah.
They were getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Fit lad.
He used to drive his own classic
Keep fit
outfit,
fanatic,
didn't he, as
mint
well?
bloke. Loved him a bit. Finished third with Kes. And not with Ben and Tom. They're the more... I understand the poster boys, aren't they? You've got to accept it. And I think the PR work, whoever does it for them, is brilliant. And you can't beat it. And the way they all do the whole package with them two. It even sounds better when you hear the tannoy. The Birchals! Sometimes on TT, you know, it's just as enjoyable doing the speed you want to do. It's like, when I went to Dean's Superbike grid other day, I looked at all front runners and they're all there, all media around them because you want telly, and you've got McGuinness and Rutter and Jimmy Cowan and all of them at Dean and Aikman, and then I looked back at grid and it always brings a tear to my eye because I think they're just having as much fun, the solo lads, from like 30 onwards, aren't they? And you see the wives putting every penny in it, and tyres for solos, they heat their damn things, you know what I mean? When I beat Dave at Southern 100, you know, I beat him at Southern, and I'll tell you a story with my wife. That year, in 2014, Dean cleaned up at the Southern 100. He won every race. His brother finished third in the 650 race, and Dean won the 650 race. So as soon as I finished racing, bring my wife up. At Southern, because the Southern's it's a dodgy circuit. That's it. It's a brilliant circuit, a brilliant event, superbly run everything. I love that club. And as soon as I finished, ring Sammy up instantly. Yes, how you doing? Dean needs a wheelbarrow as usual, love. But I said, you won't believe it, our Aiden's got a rostrum at 650 race. Oh, I say, that's good. And she says, how did you do? I says, I won. And she said, well, where did Dave Moore finish? I saw he was second. Sammy says his bike must be slow.
I did.
The TT is typically the domain of European riders, and in particular those from the British Isles and Ireland. But in 1984, Dave Roper became the first American to win at the TT in the historic 500cc class. Only 4 years later, and another American stood on the top step of the podium, when Mark Miller took the first of 2 victories in the unique TT0 class for electric bikes only. But to date, despite all the successes in other forms of motorsport around the world, no American has yet to win a traditional race at the TT. This is the beginning of the story of the latest all-American racer to take on the challenge.
Hi, my name is Chris Sarbora. I'm a TT racer from the USA. There is just literally nothing in the States like this. There's the style of roads that we have are, 50 meters wide and very slow turns and kind of, we'll have 8 lanes in a city. So it's nothing like this. I have been racing motorcycles in general since 2007. So I think this will be my 16th year. I started riding motorcycles the year before, and basically just jumped right into it. I came over to the TT the first time ever in 2010 as a mechanic. I came and did the Manx in 2011, and then did the TT in 2012, crashed out of it, Didn't come back to the island for I think 6 years, but finally decided I did want to finish and come back. So in 2018 and 19, I came with Sam and this truck and this crew, and we did the Manx Grand Prix. And then that earned me a TT entry for 2020, which carried forward into eventually 2022, and then this year 23. My first race was in 2007. I was on a 1998 Honda Superhawk, VTR 1000. I don't know what they're called here, but it was a terrible, terrible race bike, horrible. And actually, I think the first race I crashed. I made it like 5 corners and crashed. I was leading the race though, so that was cool. I was living in Ireland at the time, and I'd asked some friends like, hey, you know, I'm here in Europe, I want to go see a motorcycle race, is there a GP or something on? And Brandon messaged me, says, hey, there's this thing called a TT, I'm just like an hour from you, come be a mechanic for me. I had no idea, I'd never even heard of it before. I'd never heard of the Isle of Man, never heard of the TT, any of this stuff. So I looked it up and watched stuff on YouTube and everything, and instantly I was pretty interested. My girlfriend was pretty worried, and I told her, I remember telling her at the time, don't worry, these guys are out of their mind. There's no fucking way I'll ever do this. It is way too dangerous. And then I get over to the island, and like 2 days later, I'm like, how do I do it? I want to sign up. Look, put me in. So I found Ben Wiley, who's Sam West's business partner, was running at the time, and he figured out that he could run me for an affordable amount of money the next year. So we worked it out and got an entry. We're here to compete. Like, I definitely want to beat people. There are a couple competitors out there that I really, really want to finish ahead of and stuff. But if I don't, it's not like a short course race or a BSB race or a Moto America race where your performance is your finishing position. A lot of this is really just what lap time you achieved, how well you're riding, the comfort level you achieved with the course. It's so long that there's a lot more than just riding skill involved. It's how confident you are in this section, how well do you know the entry and exit points of these corners and stuff, and how much have you studied the course. So there's a lot more that goes into it. And for me, I'm here to do a 125 mile an hour lap is basically the goal that I want. Yeah, victory for me. So the backstory to this is Mark Miller in 2009 set the record for an American lap is 125.4 miles an hour. Again, set by Mark Miller, 2009 on, I think, a Gixxer. And that has stood for the last, 14, 15 years. And at the time, actually, it's a really impressive record. At the time, the fastest guys were only doing 129s. So for Mark to do a 125 would be like somebody coming in and doing a 130, 131 even on a bike. It's a pretty impressive record, but I want to take it from him, no doubt. So I need to go 125.5. I learned the course in 2010 and 2011. There was the new TT Superbikes, or I can't remember. Ride on the Edge hadn't come out. The game was called TT Superbikes for like PlayStation 2. And that's what I learned on. I think I played as Ian Locker. But yeah, so that's how I learned the course. And it was really useful. I could play, I'd play all the different sections. And then once you get good enough at the game, then you could start watching onboards and stuff. But yeah, I remember actually on my newcomer lap, the first ever lap I did around the course, I remember going through, I think it was around Greba Castle, and I was like, I know where I am and I know what's coming up. Cool. But yeah, so the new game, the new game is great. I do the same thing basically. We use it for practicing sectors and practicing sections and kind of getting back up to speed and remembering, okay, this is where it goes and this is where we turn. Obviously, you can't learn all of the bumps and kind of the visceral feeling of riding from it, but it is a huge help. This is my dream. The TT course. And kind of just, like you said, you against the course and kind of finding your rhythm and going through and really kind of sailing through corners correctly. That is the most fun thing there is.
What's your favorite sector?
Ooh, my favorite corner it's actually just before McGuinness's. So you're coming over the Cronky Straight and you got the two fast rights, and then kind of the Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and it's just before Handley's, and so you take the final right that you have to brake for. You kind of flip back over, and there's this a wall that ends. I think it's the 11th. Yeah. And I swear to God, the road drops away, the bike wheelies, and you kind of just go boom, and sit right into it as you're powering off toward Handley's. That is my favorite corner.
Now, 2 miles further down the road, you sit down again.
Yeah.
A little harder. Do you take that on the pegs? Do you ride it motocross style? How do you go through Bughouse?
I lift my butt up. Yeah, so I'm on the pegs, and then basically just kind of just go through it. So I guess motocross style. I'm not really, but yeah, the key with that one is you have to go through it on the gas. If you don't go through it on the gas, you're pretty fucked. Kind of figured out really early if you turn in a little bit early and then kind of just not go completely with the line on the bridge, but at the same time not try to, if you can't straight line that section. So kind of halfway almost in between, basically from the left side of the left lane to basically the middle, and then just hop that, and then as soon as you land, just immediately back on the gas. And
So you hit balance fast.
yeah, very, very fast. Yeah, I love it. And you're kind of sitting there like, okay, white line, wall, and you really, the way I learned the mountain was basically patterns of things. So like, for example, coming out of the gooseneck, you have 2 lefts and then a straight and a right, and then 3 lefts and then a straight and a right, and then finally 1 long left and then a right, and then you're onto the mountain mile. And so I'm kind of repeating to myself the whole time, like, okay, 2, then 3, then 1, and now go. And same thing, it's, I can never remember the corner names, but yeah, you were just talking about the veranda and all that stuff. It's, basically you follow the white line, but the first part of it, you're on the outside, you come a little bit closer, and then, there's the wall here, and shoot past the wall, and then it's a straightaway. But yeah, it's about commitment and dedication. It takes, this is a skill that you build. Anybody can build a skill. But in order to do that, you have to spend the time, you have to spend the effort, and you have to do it in a way that is productive. So you have to have the right direction as well.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Elephant, not elephant mouse. You picked up a ball.
I did, yes. Yeah, you can kind of see in my eye. Yeah, so coming into Mayhill on Wednesday, basically the bike wasn't really acting right. The suspension settings were wrong. I was going a lot faster than I had in the past, and so the suspension settings we were using when I was going slower didn't work when I was going faster. And basically instead of, so coming into Mayhill, it's really, really, really bumpy coming out of Parliament Square, and Mayhill in general, you kind of just need to let off the brakes and drive up the hill anyway. But I got the bike out of shape. It was bouncing and moving all over. And I kind of panicked a little bit and basically stayed on the brakes too long and didn't turn in until it was too late to turn in. And as a result, I whacked the wall. And basically, Mark Parrott years ago did exactly what I did. I basically just flipped over the hedge and landed in somebody's garden. My first thought was, oh my God, I am okay. And then I was like, oh, the bike's probably pretty fucked. Yeah.
Going out again?
I am, yeah. So I went out yesterday. We got the bike back together. So Paul and the crew are heroes. They worked overnight Thursday and early morning Friday to basically replace the entire front end of the motorcycle. So they got me back out. We did not a ton of laps on Friday. We only did 2 laps on Friday, but it was a good shakedown lap. We made some changes, and then I went fast again for the final lap. So I got my confidence back, and I'm ready to go. My family's right here, actually. My wife is over in the corner, listening to me, probably laughing at me and making fun of my answers here. But yeah, she's supportive. I really couldn't do this without her. My family, like my brothers, my parents and stuff, they don't really get it. I don't think Renee really gets it, but she knows that I love it. So she's here kind of, having my back. But yeah, it's the family. It's funny. So there's a big attitude difference between all of the kind of the British and Irish racers here, and their families kind of grow up in the atmosphere, and the whole family really gets it. Whereas in the U.S., no one gets it. Even most other racers are like, you're fucking out of your mind, dude. Like, why would you ever do this? Not even. I've had a lot of people tell me, like, who are racers, that I should not do this, and that's a weird thing to to hear coming from another racer. Like, you should get the competition, you should get the draw. But I don't know, I think there's just a cultural attitude difference. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit more challenging coming over as an American to do this kind of thing. But once you have the right support behind you, it becomes a lot easier.